Hello everyone. In this session we are going to do another exercise on the concepts of classes and object, and this will help us understanding the concepts of constructor and the concepts of access specifier in detail. So in the exercise, the step number one is to create a class with the bank account. So we have already created that class, and then in this class we need to create private member variables for storing the account number and account name and account balance, etc. Then we need to create the methods to deposit the money in the account and withdraw the money and to show the current balance. Okay, so we'll create three methods to deposit and withdraw and display the current balance. Also, something new in this case, we want to create a constructor that accepts the arguments for the initial account number and account name and balance. So we will be able to initialize the member variables from the constructor itself. Okay. Then we'll create another class with the main method, and in that new class we will create the object of the bank account. And remember, we have a constructor to initialize that, and after that, when the object is created, we will call the methods to deposit the money, and we'll play around, we'll withdraw the money, and we'll try to show the balance, etc. Okay, now there is a reason why we are making these member variables as private, and I'll explain those things when we'll do this exercise. Okay, so let's get started. The class is already created, so let us create the member variables private. First is account number, so I'm going to take it as a long and account number, and initially I am just going to put it as no assignment. And then there is account name, so it's going to be a string, private string, and AC name, and third variable is for account balance, so I'm going to create it as a double because it can be in the decimal. AC balance. So there is no initial assignment for any of these variables. Now we'll create a method to deposit the money into the account balance. So let's create it as a public method, public, and void deposit, and we are going to use a double argument over here, amount. So whatever amount user wants to deposit, that will get deposited and the balance will get increased by that amount. Okay, but before we add the amount directly, we want to check that nobody is depositing a negative amount or a zero amount. So we are going to incorporate a condition here. We are going to say that if the amount is greater than zero, then only this operation will take place. Then only we will say that the new balance is equal to the new balance plus whatever amount. And also we will display a message after the successful deposit. We'll say that successfully deposited amount and successfully deposited dollar and whatever is amount. Okay, and in the else part for this condition, we'll say that another message to the user will say that cannot deposit dollar. We'll say cannot deposit and whatever amount. So this is the method for deposit. We can create a similar method for withdrawal. Only difference would be it will get deducted from the current balance. So let's change the name to withdrawal. Withdraw, and the amount, if the amount is greater than zero, then only the withdrawal should happen. So amount is equal to minus, and over here I'm going to say successfully withdraw dollar whatever, and then we'll say if the amount is less than zero, and then we'll say cannot withdraw. Okay, so two simple methods to deposit some amount and to withdraw some amount. So whatever amount we deposit, that will get added to the current balance, and whatever amount we withdraw, that will get deducted from the current balance. Now let's create another method to display the balance, so it will be a public method again, public void display current balance, and all it is going to do is just show a message with the current balance of the user. So it is going to say your current balance is is whatever account balance. Okay, so three methods as per the steps over here. We have created three private variables for account number, account name, and account balance, and one method to deposit the money, one method to withdraw the money, and one method to display the account balance. Now in the step number 4, we have been asked to create a constructor that accepts the arguments. So we can initialize these values from the constructor itself. So let's create a constructor. Now we know that the constructor is similar, has the same name as that of the class name. So we'll create a public, and it does not have any return type, so no need to worry about void or anything. So just public and bank account, and we need to add some arguments to it. So the first argument, let's add it as the long argument, and I'm going to use the same names in this case for the arguments also. It's not compulsory, you can use different names, but I prefer to use the same names, and we can easily use this keyword to distinguish in between the class level variables and the method level variables. Those are the arguments in this case. So first is long account number, second is string account name, and the third is double account balance. Okay, so we have created a constructor. It has three arguments. Now let us add the values from these three arguments to the class level variables. So simply we're going to say that this dot account number is equal to account number. So the value from this argument will go into the account number field of this class, and this dot account name is equal to account name, and similarly this dot account balance is equal to account balance. Okay, so simple things, creating the variables, methods, and a constructor. Now the next step says to create another class with a main method. So let's create another class with a main method. Bank account main, and I'm going to select this checkbox for getting the template for this main method. So let's create the object of bank account class, and in this case we need to use this constructor over here. So I'm going to say bank account, say b1 is equal to new bank account, and we need to specify, now the first thing is account number, let me say something like this, and then we have a second thing is the name. I'm going to say that Desinia, well, that's the name of my institute, and third thing is the amount. So initially I want to put in something like this much in the account. So what we did, we created the object of the bank account class, and these are the values that we are passing through the constructor will be the initial values for the member variables of my class, and these are the values will be used to initialize the member variables of this bank account class. Okay, now there is a reason why we said to make these values as private. The thing is, if the member variable is not a private, then it can be accessed directly outside of the class. So over here easily someone will be able to say something like b1 dot account name and account balance and account number. So it is very easy to alter it. Now when you create it as a private, it cannot be altered like that. No one can access these variables directly and change the account number or name for any object. So at the time of creating the object, whatever is the account number, whatever is the account name you specify, that will be there for that account. So that is the reason we say to make it private. Now for balance, also no one will be able to temper the balance by using this balance variable directly. If you want to make any changes to the balance, then you have to use the methods like deposit or withdraw. Okay, so that is the benefit of the access specifier in this case. We make it private just to avoid any changes to these account number, account name, and balance after the object is created. And of course for the balance we can make changes, but by using these methods, these public methods, not directly changing the value of balance by using this account balance variable. Okay, so now when we have created the object, first thing let us see that first thing let us try to display the balance. I want to check that whatever initial amount I have put in the account, whether I'm able to see it. So when you run this program, yes, you can see that current balance is the same. Now let's withdraw some amount. So b1.withdraw, say I want to withdraw $2,000 and run the code again. It is saying that yes, successfully withdraw 2,000. After withdrawing the $2,000, let me see what is the balance. So yes, 98,000, which is correct. And let us try to deposit some amount, but let's try to deposit some minus amount. I know deliberately we want to check that conditions we have applied. Over here when I'm depositing a negative amount, it should not allow me. I want to check that, so I'm trying to deposit a negative, and see it is saying that cannot deposit minus 1,000, which is fine. And also if I display the balance after that operation, there should not be any change to the balance. So I'm just playing around this. So yes, balance is same. This deposit of minus 1,000 did not make any changes to the balance, which is fine. And also let us try to deposit some positive amount. Say $20,000, and then see the current balance and run the program again. So after depositing 20,000, yes, my balance is now 118,000. Okay, so something like this. So what do we learn from this? One thing is the importance of making the variables as private. So wherever we do not want our member variables to be accessed directly outside of the class, then we should make them private. That's the first thing we understood. Second thing is we have revised the concept of creating a constructor and how we can pass the arguments and initialize the member variables of the class using the constructor. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video.